Hey guys, welcome back to the video. Well, as you can see, this book didn't work for us. And before I go ahead and tell you why it didn't work for us, I just wanted to talk briefly about why I chose this curriculum and the good things about it, and then I'll tell you why it didn't work for us. And I have some notes here to the side, so just ignore that. I'm going to be reading off of it. So teach your child to read in 100 easy lessons. If you have not heard of this book, it was made by a man named Siegfried Engelmann. He's an American researcher, and he also did it in conjunction with Phyllis Haddix and Elaine Bruner. There are also other researchers. And so the reason that I purchased this book is because it's backed by decades of research. And as you can see, it says more than 1 million copies sold, and it's touted as being able to help you teach your child how to read. And it's supposed to be done in 100 lessons, and each lesson is approximately 20 minutes a lesson. And so a brief history of Siegfried Engelmann is that he was hired by the Department of Education to help children who had trouble reading. They were falling behind in reading. And so he started something called the Head Start program. You've probably heard of it. And he had such great success with the Head Start program that he was then asked to continue researching and studying, which he did along with a bunch of other researchers for different methods of teaching. And it was a program called the follow-through program, or the follow-through study, basically. And I think there was something like 700,000 children that were a part of this study. And like I said, different teaching modalities were studying kids and how they could easily best learn to read and learn. And Siegfried Engelmann, from what the data showed and from what he says, his method was the best method for teaching kids how to read, and not only read, but how to learn. And so he ended up forming this method of teaching called direct instruction that he says help kids learn how to read, write, and do math in a very efficient, effective way and quickly. And so anyway, learning all that, that's why I decided to buy this book. And again, a lot of people said that this helped their kids learn to read. Some of the good things about the book, I can say it is very, very well laid out for the instructor and the child that's learning. And I'll just turn to one of the first couple of lessons. So this is lesson 4. And you can see that the print is very big and it has black and red lettering. This is all stuff that the instructor, which might be you if you're the parent teaching your kid homeschool, would be saying. So you would say, you're going to write the sounds that I write. Here's the first sound that you're going to write. And then, yeah, you just follow the instructions. And this is the part that your kids would be saying. And so here, as you can see, there's a little ball, and the kid's supposed to move their finger along with it and sound out the sounds. And so the thing that I like is that there is an emphasis, huge emphasis on phonics in the beginning of learning to read, which I think is very important. And also they have like this multi-sensory approach where you're touching the ball and then saying the sound and following the arrow. Again, that's been shown when you engage the eyes and ears and touch, then that's supposed to help your kids learn faster. And so I think Engelmann is introducing these concepts. The other thing that I like is that very quickly the kids start to learn 3-letter words. So like this, C, And not only is this a 3-letter CVC, or well, this one isn't a CVC word, but they do learn CVC words, consonant, vowel, consonant sounds, but he's also teaching them sight words. And this, I believe, is a sight word, C, and a sight word is words that you see very frequently in the English language. And once they learn the, here's a consonant, vowel, consonant word, and sight words, they immediately start putting that into stories so the kids can start reading a story. So like here is, well, what they would call a story. Here's a picture, and here's what the child would read. And then it also has comprehension, so you know that the kid understands what they're reading, which I really like. And then as the book goes on, it goes from very large print to much smaller print, as you can see. So this is a large print and this is the small print. So it's more like what you would see in a book, or as you read as an adult, the print is smaller letters. And as you can see, it has, like, when they first learn to read, special characters, and then it goes to regular characters, and it even has some grammar here that the kids learn what quotation marks and a period and a question mark is. And I think that's all great. And from what you saw earlier, it also, this is optional, but your kids can learn how to write letters, and I like that it incorporates writing too, because it's solidifying what they've learned for reading. Anyway, those are all the wonderful things about this book, and I really appreciate that about the book. But why it didn't work for us, I believe, is because it becomes too advanced too quickly. So in the beginning, it's very easy, things like this. But then as you go on, it becomes longer and longer. And here's another story. And it becomes harder and harder for the child. Now, obviously, that is supposed to be the way it is, because as it gets longer, as it gets harder, the words get harder, then you're learning to read. But the problem is that direct instruction is supposed to be fast and quick and efficient, and you are supposed to keep going through the lessons, and the child maybe isn't that advanced, or they didn't pick up on what they had learned. Yeah, so as you can imagine, when things advance too quickly, it becomes frustrating and not fun, and that's exactly what happened to us. And so now I'm thinking of switching over from this book to another book, and that will be Explode the Code, level 1 and 2, and I'll post a picture of what that looks like. But yeah, it just became not fun for my daughter, and I don't want her to hate reading. I want her to like reading, and she's doing such a good job. But this book is supposed to improve a child's self-esteem for reading, and I feel like now it's getting to the point where maybe that's not what's happening. So I need something that makes her feel like she is a good reader and she is doing good. And I just think this has just gotten too hard and too advanced for her. And I'm not saying that we didn't end on like lesson 4, and even if we did, I think that's still valid for anybody that happens to. But we are now on lesson 79 of the book, and this is what the story looks like. And each time we have to read a story, we only read about a paragraph at a time, because that will take about 15 minutes for her to read with assistance. We had started in June with reading, and I had to slow down the lessons because at one point a lesson was like 40 minutes and it really should only be 20 minutes, so I had to split the lesson in two. And we kept on going, and she was doing all right. And then we stopped in September, and I thought that was a good stopping point. She was starting to get a bit frustrated. And then we picked it back up again in October, so we took a whole month off, and we picked it back up in October. And she was a little slightly rusty, not too bad, because we were studying reading in other forms. And so she picked it back up quickly, but still having trouble, still not liking it. And she told me that she doesn't like doing this book. She says, I don't like the white book. And so I had to find something else for her that is enjoyable so that she can enjoy reading. And I think that's going to be Explode the Code, because again, it is research-backed curriculum. And I'm also going to be reading something like this. I can read My First Reader, something simple for her, so she feels like she can do it. We did buy the Bob books. She did Bob Books ABC, and she also did. I bought this Bob Books first level, but she didn't really care for the Bob books. I still have this. She may be into it later, but this is really something more her style. And also Little Bear. So this is a level 1 reader, and we read Little Bear a lot. She loves the stories, and because we read it a lot and because of the repetition, this may be easier for her to get a grasp on when she does start reading independently. But for now, we're still reading to her, and we'll have her pick out words in the book. And yeah, that makes her feel good. She enjoys the book. That's what we're looking for. So did the book work? Is she reading? Yes, she is, but she's not reading fluidly. She's having trouble with blending. And by blending, I mean when you read a word like this, and she can sound it out. She knows the letter sounds. She'll say o, more. But she has trouble with that blending at the end where you go more. And so that's what we are working on. And so when she reads a story, as you can imagine, when she gets to a word that she doesn't know and she has to sound it out, it takes a long time, and it's frustrating for her. And sometimes even after sounding it out and elongating the letter sounds more, she still doesn't know what the word is. And so I have to help her. And some people might say, well, you didn't follow the directions, or you didn't teach her correctly. It's the teacher's fault. And maybe it is, and maybe it's not. Maybe she just has difficulty reading, and that's okay. And I will say I did follow the directions verbatim. You just read them verbatim and follow the directions. But she just didn't get the hang of blending. And so hopefully the Explode the Code will help. I will keep you all updated, and I'll probably do a review on Explode the Code, and we'll see how it goes. So I just wanted to share our experience with you guys and let you know about the book and how it worked for us. And I will say that the co-author of this book, Phyllis Haddix, she does have a very good website, and I will try to link it in the description. And I know reading can be difficult, so I hope you find something that helps you. Maybe this is the book, maybe not, but I'm sharing our experience with you guys. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.